Yeah!
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the APFG Spear LT. This one's mine right here. I have it set up with a Romeo 8T and rail scales, bird grip, mod light. Yeah, so it's pretty much stock as you can see. So I guess we're going to do a basic breakdown right now, eh?
Yeah, essentially, we want to capture on video the breakdown article that we made the other day, just to get this in video format a little bit easier to digest for everyone. Um, this gun's been taken apart once already when we did the breakdown, so we're hoping that the Loctite and things like that will be loosened and probably, make for a smoother experience this time around.
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you guys can see over here, it has a V3 fire control group. It's identical. There's nothing all that different other than having a ambidextrous bolt release.
Same parts as all the other V3 guns too, right? With the knocker group?
Yes.
Yeah, so
Hmm.
if you need a replacement, it'll be easy enough to find.
Yes, it'll be really easy to replace any of these parts. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave the lower, put the lower down. We're gonna get to the upper, starting from taking apart the handguard.
The handguard was very tight the first time around, I believe.
Yeah, it was pretty tight. I wouldn't say too tight or anything. It's okay.
Yeah, we got
You
it
just
off
have to
pretty
hit
easily.
it a
We got
couple
it off pretty
times.
easily, yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, yeah, like Pentagon was warning us about that, right?
Yeah, I guess maybe they had a sample that was a little bit too tight,
Hmm.
tighter than the one that we have here. Ours is okay.
These things will definitely vary, so when you get yours, or, if you're planning on buying this gun, the first couple of times is going to be pretty stiff. Unlike the Rattler, though, which develops a very loose handguard over time, at least you have those two screws on the side of this one to kind of tension everything down, and we imagine it's not going to have a wobbly, shitty, shaky handguard over time. Which is great.
Yes, you might want to use a rag when you're hitting this.
Mm.
Okay, still a little tight.
Spoke too soon. Yeah, I still find it so weird that, like, everybody I know almost is buying a Romeo AT to put on this gun. Like, we're all gonna end up with the same fucking
I think
looking
it's
gun.
just the pictures that people see, all the examples, all the good ones from like Garanthem and all.
Yeah.
Most of these guns, like just internet pictures, if you search for Spear LT, it comes usually just comes with what's it called? A Romeo 8
Hey, I've
on
been
it.
saying, it's a good looking optic, but,
It is, absolutely.
yeah, I think my biggest issue is, I have one on the Rattler already, so, are both my guns just gonna be, like, running ATs? That's kind of weird, right?
Well, I'm running an 8T on my Rattler as well,
Mm-hmm.
so I guess it wouldn't really matter. It's something nice to have just SIG on SIG, right?
Yeah, like a catalog gun.
Hmm.
But there's other parts of the gun that we kind of set up now that's, like, not really SIG parts, right? Like, I have a K1 on, or a K2, on my, Rattler right now, right?
You have a K2.
Mm-hmm.
What's a K2 again?
Or K1, or K2.
Oh, K2, the Magpul.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Why is it so hard this time?
I don't
Can
know.
we cut this? Shit. Okay, it just slid right off. My bad. Didn't
No,
even
we're not
have to
gonna
do all that.
cut this.
Okay. Yep. Anyways, here it is.
People
It's
want to
out.
see all the whole struggle.
All the
Every
struggling.
bit of the
Yes. Okay.
struggle.
Fine. Watch me struggle.
Yeah.
Here. Handguard is out.
This business is built around you struggling.
I know. I know. I love suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Suffering for you guys.
I like seeing you suffer.
Yes.
But yeah, so as you guys can see, this is fucking identical to the Rattler. Like, there's really no difference whatsoever. The whole like I'm pretty sure the JWI chamber fits in this. I know that's a
I'm pretty sure it would fit. There's
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
too different about the
Well,
hop chamber
that's
on
one of
this.
the biggest concerns a lot of people have with this gun. Like I've heard of customers tell me, not our customers that bought the gun from us, but other people who have, they've gotten this gun with the outer barrel just like broken already. Like the threads on the hop chamber like snapped during delivery and things like
The
that.
Spear LT,
No, the Rattler. But
the Rattler.
why
Yes,
would this be
yes,
any different, right? Like this, it could happen with this gun too, probably. So
yes. Okay.
yeah, JWI chamber probably does wonders for this.
All right. So as you can see, I have a different muzzle device on here, but that has no effect on the gun. Overall, let's see what else are we going to take apart. These screws right here. Be right back. Okay, I'm blind. Shit was right here.
Yeah, I see you have a pretty cluttered workbench.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All sorts of crap laying around, like that Beretta for no reason.
It's just to show my love for Italy.
Hmm. Yeah, so looking further onto the front section of the gun, the barrel assembly, that barrel brace is just made of plastic. Pretty sure it doesn't do anything. It's just for looks, but you know, we've always appreciated how this particular manufacturer tends to, you know, put attention into things like that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, but who knows when that thing is gonna break, to be real with you.
Well, the main problem I had with it is that there's so much Loctite on the outer barrel and the hop chamber. So I had to use a heat gun. And this being plastic and so close to this part where I have to melt away the plastic, that got me a bit concerned, but I didn't actually melt anything,
Mm-hmm.
which is quite a relief.
I think that's really the only concern with using a heat gun or applying heat onto something. Usually with these guns,
Yeah,
if it's
yeah,
close to
really
like
know
a
what's
yeah,
underneath,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Like well, you know what's underneath. If it's some sort of critical
Well, if it's your
plastic
first time
component.
taking it apart, you don't know what's down there.
Sure.
Like we've taken apart so many MCXs already, so we already know like what parts to
No,
avoid.
I think you're just fucked with certain guns. Like with the MP7, it's like pretty close to the fucking nozzle. So when you're heating up those two screws on the top of the bolt carrier, it's, you know, you should be careful.
Yeah.
Gotta take the muzzle off first, I think. What's that for? Your dead air?
Sandman.
Yeah, for dead
Yeah,
air, right?
there.
Yeah. And you said you replaced the barrel already in this gun?
Yeah, I replaced it for something slightly longer just to test chrono results with a 180 millimeter inner.
Mm-hmm.
Since the stock one is just a 138, it was shooting a little too low for Canadian standards or Canadian custom requirements. So I had to throw in a longer barrel.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But I guess
Neither am I,
it's
but
something you're gonna
I
replace
can
anyways, right? So.
yeah, but you can see the logic behind this, right? It's the easiest way to get guns to shoot low enough for different countries, different laws, and other countries usually require guns to shoot low.
Mm-hmm.
Only Canada, for some reason, wants guns to shoot like stupid high to pass customs regulations, which is
As far as we know at the moment.
it's kind of insane to me. But yeah, it's really only a problem for us since everyone's gonna swap out the barrel anyways. Anyone who's serious with this gun, so it's not a deal breaker, like you said.
You know, but the funny thing is, like, even though it has such a short barrel, the gun out of box still shoots too hot for most CQB fields that require you to have like lower limits, I would say.
Oh, okay. What is
Yeah.
the CQB limits?
Local place we have is like 300 with .2s, which is like
Oh,
insanely low.
300.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
then yeah,
insanely
it's still
low.
shooting. Still
Yeah.
shooting too hot.
I think a lot of handguns won't even meet that, to be real with you.
It's
A lot
not
of
easy to
handguns,
meet
a
that.
lot of handguns are
Honestly.
around like the 320 area, like that. I would say.
Hmm. All right. So as you can see, the hop chamber right here,
Yeah, very much the same design as the Rattler from the looks of it.
very much the same.
Yeah,
And originally it came with a barrel of this length. So this is what I've put on just for Canadian requirements.
and
Yep.
I think they claimed that the chamber thread in the front was thickened, but it doesn't really seem like the case, right?
Well, it certainly feels a bit more solid, but I don't know. I could be imagining
Yeah,
things.
it's
I'm
like
not
a
too sure until
placebo
I
effect,
compare them.
because that's what they told us, right?
Yes, it's hard to really say for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall,
I mean,
that's
it looks the fucking same to me, so I kind of feel like that's like bullshit. But
so for those of you who have already taken apart your Rattlers or have any experience with these guns, this is pretty much the same as the Rattler. And
like we
this
said,
gun,
yeah, the JWI will probably fit inside.
yeah, this is exactly the same, the bolt carrier group, other than it having no end pass in this one. But I've actually heard from the OEM the reason why they didn't include an end pass in this one. Well, we don't agree with it, but the reasoning behind it is that some people are complaining about a inconsistency with the end pass because over time, sometimes the grub screw would unthread itself, loosen, and you'll just shoot really inefficiently or just very poor consistency with your shots. So, you know,
It's not.
it's fairly easy to throw in a float valve in there or get a different end pass nozzle.
I
We're not
mean,
a fan of that because that's just extra cost for us as consumers, but that is the reasoning behind this. It's hard to really make the perfect product, right?
I'm gonna say I also haven't even noticed that on any of my guns with an end pass, so it's hard to say. But just because it
It's
hasn't
hard to
happened to
say. It's
me
hard to
doesn't mean
say.
it hasn't happened to someone else.
It could also be a QC thing, right? Like
Yeah, we've seen
some
nozzles like that.
people
We've seen nozzles like that.
we have,
Yeah.
and even with the fixed FPS nozzles, I've seen some shoot really high and some shoot like stupidly low. Like it's just, yeah. Well, what can I say, right? But it's really easy to make your own end pass valve,
Very
or
cheap
just
too, let's say.
very cheap, or just
Yeah.
buy one and throw one in there. It's not hard to do. Like anyone can do it if you know your way around a GBB.
I think with this gun, the most important thing that you really have to look out for if you're gonna pop the nozzle out and actually fit a end pass float valve into the nozzle would be that you don't fuck the pin up on the nozzle when you're taking it apart, first of all. That's real important. And when you're putting it all back together, because they're using the screw in the back now instead of the E-clip, make sure you Loctite that thing, because a lot of people have had problems with their
Yes,
Rattlers and
Loctite,
their
Loctite,
MPXs
absolutely.
when they don't Loctite that screw in the back.
This screw right here.
Yeah.
Absolutely Loctite that screw.
Mm-hmm. Like
But
it can
use
actually
something that's removable. Don't use the hard stuff on that because these nozzles will break. And if you put on too much Loctite, that's on you. You're gonna have to buy a whole ass bolt carrier group for that.
well, the steel one's coming out. Should be alright. Yeah.
Yep.
So with the front end of the gun, there's really not all too much to report. Would we prefer a longer barrel? Yeah, but it's just the way it is. You said the handguard's pretty nice, right?
Yeah, I do like the handguard.
Mm-hmm. It's very solid, I'd imagine.
Yeah, the material and everything about it. It's pretty nice. It's solid CNC.
Looks pretty decent.
Yeah, the color's nice. I like it. Weight, solid. It doesn't flex or anything when you squeeze on it, so it's pretty good.
I mean, most of the handguards they make are pretty good, so I don't think they're quite as good as some of the more boutique brands, let's say Z Parts or HAO.
Oh, you can't compare it to like
No,
something
no,
like
because
that, which
those
is
are
like
comparable to the
unique
real deal from what
material.
we've seen.
Yes,
Mm.
this is still a toy and
Still a
it's
toy.
first party games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta save money somewhere, but it's not that bad. It's not like they stuck you with something that's like unusable. I would say, like, still very good.
Mm-mm.
product.
Mhm. I would say so. So yeah, I guess we will be getting ours in Canada pretty soon, eh?
Well,
Our first one
yeah,
just been
so
sent out today.
yep, the first one just got sent out for the one guy who didn't want the CNC lower, but you know, he might be the first person to get the gun in Canada. Like usually our service doesn't really take that long, and clearance is a crapshoot. It might be really quick, or it might take up to a month. There's really no saying.
It's really hard to say.
That's up to
It's
the
up to the
government.
customs.
That's up to big government.
Yeah, it's not in our control at
Yeah.
that point. Once it leaves my hand, it's all up to the government.
There's dick all I could really do about it here.
hmm
You know, a lot of people complain about this gun actually not hopping lighter weight BBs, and yeah, it might be a concern, right, if you play at a CQB field with some pretty low limits. But
If you have to
yeah,
run lighter BBs, then that could be a problem. Or if you want to run
yeah,
tracers,
I, I
just
would
don't.
I would say your bucking really matters for that. Like, if you swap in a bucking that's more intended for a lighter weight BB, I think the results will be pretty good. Like for us over
Yeah,
here,
absolutely.
neither of us actually run super lightweight BBs. I think the
hmm
lowest I'll ever really run is like .32s, right? So
I think so, because that even then, that's only
that's
because we're trying to
considered
run the
pretty.
heaviest
Yeah, that's considered pretty
tracers.
light, like usually for us already too.
It's pretty light, but
Yeah,
it's the heaviest tracers, and that is the only reason why we're doing it when we're trying to run tracers that day.
it's just like most gas blowback rifles nowadays. Like they tend to be designed for you know, heavier weight BBs. It's just what the market over there uses, and these
Well,
guns can take advantage of it. So you know,
it's the easiest way to get your gun to shoot really accurate and really far just by using a heavier weight BB, but it's not readily available in Canada or wherever you are. But
it's just expensive. But yeah, like
it's really accessible for us over
yeah,
here.
it's
So
not very expensive over there. Like .4s
no,
don't
not at
really
all.
cost all that
So
much.
that's why Taiwanese manufacturers keep making their guns like that.
But you're saying you guys play with some pretty crazy CQB limits sometimes, right?
Well, some fields don't even
There are
test
no limits. Yeah, like
FPS limits.
yeah,
There,
yeah.
there literally is no limit. Like even though they have a FPS limit marked on a wall, but nobody actually follows it. Nobody's chronoing nobody, so
I
it's
would
just
say
there.
it's actually kind of similar over here at certain places. I'm not gonna shout out where, but yeah, it certainly
hmm
happens here too.
Yeah.
I think you could just tell when you know you get hit and there's red everywhere, right?
Well, you feel it, right? You certainly feel it.
You see it because you're bleeding.
You see it because you're
Yeah,
bleeding, but when you're in the game, you probably won't be able to see until you get back to prepping area. And right away, you're
you'll
like,
probably feel it because there's blood all over your gloves.
oh, well, if it's
Yeah,
shooting that hot, then call the police, man.
I don't know about that, but
So, what are your plans for your LT build?
well, like I said earlier, it seems like everybody I know, including myself, is gonna put a Romeo AT on this gun, which is
Everyone.
hilarious.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
reasonable amount of people that are all looking to do the AT on this. And, like, my biggest problem is because I have one on the Rattler already, right? So I'm like, do I really want both my MCXs to run the same fucking optic on it? That's kind of weird. And,
That is, or you could just
yeah.
run different optic on your Rattler.
Well, you know, what bugs me even more on this is the fact that they're both very similar length guns until, like, you know,
Right.
the parts come out to extend this thing.
So you have a cane brake, right?
Yeah.
And can we see that thing?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Grab it off the wall over here. Yep, so, it is pretty decked out. I have a JWI chamber inside this gun. Because,
hmm
you know, my chamber didn't break, but, you know, just peace of mind, right? I'm running the collapsible, or telescoping 6-hour stock. This is the one made by BSC. So, I think they call themselves Task Force over there.
I
Seems
don't
like,
think that one's called. I don't think that one's Task Force. I think
no?
that one's just straight up BFC
Yeah,
because
but,
that's the one for the AEG, right?
yeah, I think so, but, like, I seem to recall, like, the Task Force fucking shit is theirs, too, right?
Beats me, man.
Yeah, I don't know, because we picked up something like that for someone, and it was pretty clear that was a VFC made one. We could be wrong about this.
The Kate Moss one that we picked up, right? The
Yeah,
Task Force Kate Moss.
seems like
Yeah, I
a
believe.
VFC part, yeah. But either
Yeah.
ways, I have the forward assist from the AEG on this one, running a Radiant Raptor, and
Mm-hmm.
I guess most noteworthy about this gun would be the fact that it is rocking the Black Pew CNC receiver. And I
Mm.
don't know if you can see it on the camera over here, but yeah, like it has some pretty good trades. I would say it's better than some of the stuff that you get this gun with normally. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, the CNC lower really makes this gun, so I'm very excited to be able to get that on the LT as well. Obviously, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's a good gun and all. I'm not gonna say it doesn't have its flaws, but it's pretty good. Oh, and the cane brake front end is from Airsoft Artisan. Nothing
Oh,
to be
they always
salty
make
about
some
that.
pretty good stuff. I like artisan stuff.
Yeah, it's not bad, but I don't know if it's the design of this gun or perhaps artisans, kind of something up with the artisan rail, but it wobbled quite a bit. Like I actually have those two little bracket screws. One of them is like backed out a little bit more than usual, just so it puts a little bit of tension onto the handguard so it doesn't wobble around. But it's been good ever since, so it's not bad.
Right.
Yeah. Gun shoot's pretty good. I've never really had too many issues with it. Gamed it a few times, and it's performed pretty well, like on every time except one. And
Really, what happened that one time?
it was at the hotel I was telling you about.
Oh, right, right,
Yeah,
right.
like where
Double feed,
yeah,
right?
like I had a double feed, and it start packing like BB shards into the chamber face, and eventually like
Mm-hmm.
gun just wouldn't return the battery, and it vented all the gas out, right? So had to go home, rebuild the whole thing, but that was exactly when the Black Pew receiver came in for me, so the gun had to be rebuilt anyways.
Yes.
And it worked out pretty fucking well.
Mm. I haven't ran my gun yet since I got the Black Pew
Yeah.
receiver.
hmm And the quality on the Black Pew is quite good. Like we've been talking about this for a while, but it's rare that you see these receiver kits or kit guns like fit this well, in our opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like we've only
That is
seen two
true.
real problems with the Black Pew receiver. One of them would be that the bolt release pin falls up pretty easily. You might
Yeah,
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 get a
that is
touch of
true.
glue on there or something like anything to keep
And
it
the
from falling
cutout's
and
also
losing
a
it.
little too deep on that, and the spring's a little too short from the stock rattler.
Yes, but that's something you could
But
solve by
actually,
cutting a
you
spring from
bring
the
up a
peg.
good point. On the new Spear LT, it actually comes with a much longer spring. So I think they might have taken the dimensions from the newer MCXs for the build of the
Ooh,
Black Pew.
weird behind the scenes
Yes.
stuff that we're not privy to, I would say. Yeah, that's possible. And the other problem we had was really related to the telescoping stock that we both run on our guns, as you can see in his background. That didn't fit all that well. He had to modify
No,
his
it did
stock,
not.
and I had to actually
It
mallet
trembled the
mine
fuck out of
on.
my stock.
Yeah, like I ended up malleting mine on, right?
Oh,
But
you didn't
no,
Dremel anything?
no, I didn't fuck with it. But
Hmm.
yeah, I mean it fits and it's fine. I'm not gonna swap the stock on this gun anytime soon, so who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I'm just fitting the handguard back in. It's not as tight as people say. It's a little bit tight. Just give it a couple of hits.
I'd rather be tight than loose though. You can't fix
Yeah,
loose.
absolutely.
You can't really fix loose all that well unless you're gonna like shim the hell out of it with like electrical tapers on.
Yeah.
I think based on what you said, seeing the gun in person, the color is not bad either, right?
It's not bad.
Yeah. It's a very big concern for a lot of people. Like we get asked that pretty often. How's the color look?
Yeah, I was
Uh,
concerned myself
yeah,
too.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
want it to look too gold or
hmm
anything, but it actually
No,
turned
I
out
meant
to
before
be
this gun was out, like before
alright.
anyone had it, people kept asking us that, and I'm just like, we haven't fucking seen it yet. How would we know, right?
Yeah, and people are worried about like color matching, if,
Yeah.
but actually, it didn't come with the same color upper and lower.
Nope.
So
I don't think the
yeah.
real gun does either.
I don't think it does. Like based off pictures we saw on Google, even a real gun has like some color
Hmm.
differences between the upper and lower.
But I think one of our customers pointed this out. Like this gun looks like it's a different color
In every
in every
picture.
picture, yeah, imaginable. So, but I tend to think FDE is just like that, right?
Yeah, how it reacts to light bouncing off of it, it's really hard to get the right picture
Hmm.
because sometimes because it's a really pale color, right? So sometimes when light bounces off it, it just really it's just insanely bright. It
Yep.
looks almost yellow, but no, actually in person this thing is not yellow at all.
Yeah, a lot of people commented it kind of looks like burnt bronze, like the Cerakoting color too.
Yes, it's quite similar to that.
Which isn't bad. I mean, it's a pretty popular color.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that color. I think I have burnt bronze on my BCM. You can see in the back as well. I'll compare the two in a sec.
Yeah,
Put my
sure.
hand guard back on.
You know, I'm real worried about those two screws on the side of the upper. Like, I think you should,
There's two sides.
yeah, like you should be real careful when you tighten those, because if you strip one of them, you're like fucked.
Okay. So here,
Oh wow,
it's actually,
yeah, it's even more muted and darker.
yeah,
Is that actually burnt bronze or like what?
I can't confirm that, but I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
something similar to a
yeah.
burnt bronze.
I like the LT's color more personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
It's not too gold or yellow.
Hmm.
My BCM, which is a little too yellow, too gold, too bling. Yeah, these two screws, I don't think you should worry too much about um, stripping them because they're actually pretty good. They're pretty tough. They're not
I
the usual cheap screws
No,
you
for
see
sure.
from.
I'm more worried about stripping the fretting on the lower, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I wouldn't be too worried unless
I
you're
really don't think you
still
gotta tighten
more on.
those all that much either.
Yeah, you
It's not
really
that
don't
kind of,
have to.
yeah, so, you know, just something to be aware of.
Yeah, I've also got a Radiant Raptor for this
Should have one of those
in
to my order.
FD.
Should have one of those to my order. But then my,
Like an alloy
it'd be
piece go.
exactly like my Rattler again. Except this one doesn't have a chonky handguard.
Yeah. Yeah, the handguard on this is really nice. It's really slim. The profile on it is just really nice. The Rattler, it's conk, like you said. It's almost hard to grip sometimes, especially if you have small hands
The cane break? Yeah.
and or even the Rattler handguard. It's the
I guess
stock
it's
one.
tall, yeah. I didn't really have any issues with it, but it's not the best
Well,
handguard ever. There's just not enough usable space.
not
So
enough usable
yeah, it's kind of
space
why I
for.
thought like turning it into a cane break is a better idea.
Yeah, and then now we got this thing,
Mm.
which makes it like the same roll again.
Yeah, so it just kind of screwed myself over in a way. Why are you putting the lower back on?
Why am I putting the lower back on?
Yeah,
Are we
we're
going to
looking
talk
at it.
about the lower?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like,
Okay.
let's take a look at the back of the upper as well. Like, there's been quite a few improvements there, didn't you say?
Back up the upper? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Okay, let me take it apart again. No problem.
I'm not really sure why you put it back together, but okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just putting it back together, so I just kept going with it. It's fine.
Yeah, so we're really planning on just going through our article and getting some of this footage on here. I guess one thing we could take a look at is if any of you have a Rattler, I'm sure you guys have taken off the brass deflector before and seen how you know, the screw threads on that were just exposed on one side. They actually added a reinforcement shelf to that area now, so they're actual holes, like complete holes for the screw. Unlike before, where like,
Mhm.
you know, half of it was just like hanging in midair. Yeah,
Yes. You want
yeah.
me to take this off the forward assist?
This is a takedown video, so yes.
Right. Okay. Let's get there. Yes, there's actually screws. Actually meat to bite on this time, so
Yeah, that's
it's
good.
pretty tight.
I think the auto trip
Yeah.
bar is the other area of concern. Like I think that like one of the screws on there is like just freeballing on most of our rattlers.
Oh, for mine, it's both of those screws, so I just
Yeah,
super glued it shut, man. Like,
yeah.
even with super glue, it's not really doing it. So, after buying the CNC lower receiver, I'm no longer worried about cracking my lower, but I'm still worried about that part falling off, and I might need a different upper again. Like, it's just
I
shit like
wouldn't.
that, man.
I
Like,
wouldn't mind having a CNC upper as well, like just the whole fucking kit for this gun.
well,
The
the gun is
the upper is
already
CNC
a
already,
CNC
but
upper.
I
Yes, it
just
already
think it
comes
could
with, but
be.
it's probably not 6061. And also, there's like really thin cuts like all over, which is quite
Yeah,
questionable. All right, anyways, here is the shelving that we were talking about.
yeah. So there's a
Yeah.
reinforced section over there now to just have a little bit more to bite onto. I don't think that area really was a concern regarding durability. It's more so just
Yeah, it just feels bad
yeah,
seeing like the thread marks on the side walls of your
yeah.
gun. It's like, wow,
Just looks
couldn't
fucked
even
up and
get that
sketchy,
right.
right? Like it just looks fucked up and
Yeah, I've
sketchy.
heard
Yeah.
people worried about like Cerakoting their uppers before because you have to sandblast the gun, right? And it was so like paper thin. People were worried they would just like blow straight through
I think
it.
that's the case even with this gun. A lot of people might not want to refinish the gun because they're worried that it's just gonna like take off like just enough material, right? But it kind of looks like everywhere on the upper, like it's decently thick enough to handle something like that.
I think so. I
Yeah,
think it's greatly improved. I'm not sure what they did here with the auto trip bar, but yeah, these threads are on pretty tight. There's actually meat to bite on. It's not just loose like before. Like these screws will not just tap out anymore.
I think it's just the screw
And
holes. Like they're tapped properly this time. Last time, I'm
yeah,
guessing the threads were just really fragile and they just go really quickly,
really
right?
fragile.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty much the upper. Like we said in our article, it's a reoccurring trend with this gun. A lot of stuff is exactly like the Rattler. This is really a 2.0 at the end of the day.
this is just a Rattler
Yeah,
2.0 indeed.
which is normal, because that's what the real gun is, right?
Yeah, yeah. It basically is that. Like just a refresh with a skinnier handguard, forward assist. Overall, it's not that different. It's a longer gun because some people probably thought the Rattler was comically short.
hmm
Yeah, so everyone was just out there extending it.
barely longer, I would say.
Barely
Yeah.
longer. I'd say it's a lot longer. Isn't the Rattler just a 5-inch gun? And this is
You have
like
one behind you. Compare. Like I
okay.
guess we could take a look, right? I mean, I'm guessing it is longer, but is it a long enough for it to be a usable length or a better usable length? I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
I I think so. Like this is like something I
This
would
seems a
run.
lot like the new short BCM or kind of like the Marksman 9 or something like that.
Marksman, yes.
Yeah.
Or even slightly shorter than something like a Mark 18 or a Ergi, like those 10.3-inch rifles.
Well,
Well, this is
we will
something
see
like
when
in
it gets here.
between
We'll
that.
see when it gets here because I have a Mark 18. Yeah, I mean, the Marksman itself is a pretty good size, I would say. It's not too short. It's just
Okay.
short enough or just long enough to
Here's the
kind of get a
two
hold on.
in comparison. As you can see here,
Oh
it's
yeah,
almost
it is.
double the
Yeah, it
length.
is quite a bit longer.
It is a lot
Yeah.
longer, actually. Like if you compare them side by side,
hmm
it's double the length. One's a 138 millimeter
Yeah, I guess
inner,
we could tell
and
from
this
the inner
thing,
barrel, anyways, right?
yeah, and this thing has like a 230. If you
hmm
if you swap it, you can have a 230 in there. It comes with 138, which is ridiculous. Fix that shit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not gonna.
they're not gonna, but yeah, I can always
hmm
talk shit.
Like we said, you're probably gonna replace it anyways. Let's be real, the barrels that this OEM usually gives us is not very good.
But would you say that is the case with most OEMs? Like, can you
Yeah, yeah.
really say it's just this OEM? Like what OEM? Which factory comes with like a good inner?
If you buy an A plus gun, maybe.
But that's not really
It's
a
not,
you know.
yeah, because they put a aftermarket barrel in and call it a so and so edition, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's kind of different. And that's kind of different. And on a lot of their guns, like I would say their recent N4 just has a standard OEM barrel.
Yeah, there's no real standard or rhyme or reason with any of the stuff they really do.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen A plus come out of anything lately either.
That is true.
Hmm.
That is true. They have been awfully quiet.
I wonder if they're in trouble like GHK.
You think? Probably not.
Probably not.
They haven't really fucked up on anything.
Yeah, it's
Like
hard. It's hard to get into the kind of trouble GHK is in.
Yeah, and the Novetzky N4 was quite successful, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Like a lot of people like it.
Hmm. It actually had that kind
Um,
of status, like kind of like the HK 416 and guns like that, where you see like just so many of them because everyone ends up buying them, right?
yes, yes, but I will see if that will be the case with the Spear LT as well. Maybe, I don't know. Hard to
Maybe,
say.
yeah.
Some people aren't really adopting to the idea of an MCX yet. I don't know. Like to me, I think this is very much just an AR, but better, and it looks amazing in my opinion.
I think it's debatable if it's even really better.
Sure,
Hmm.
but yeah, it looks
There's
great in my
one whole
opinion.
aftermarket chamber you could buy for this gun. I don't know if that really makes something better or worse, because a lot of times, especially with certain guns, most of the massive aftermarket that it has doesn't really matter, because everyone goes like, oh, this is the best part, and everyone just runs that anyways, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I think most of the serious problems on the APFG MPX have been mostly sorted out now. Like, there's a solution for all these problems, right? Like
Yeah,
the
most of
buffer
them.
thing. I mean, they themselves actually improved a little bit on the buffer this time around. Uh,
Yes,
yeah. What are you doing? Are you
which is
putting the
great.
gun
Like
back
they're
together
actually,
again?
yeah. Did we need the upper still?
No, but we're gonna look at the lower, right?
Oh, we're gonna look at
Why
the
do you
lower.
keep putting
Okay.
it back together? What the fuck are you
I don't know,
doing?
because it's like just a bunch of loose parts
I
all
know.
over the place. Okay. Okay.
Buy a bigger table.
Okay. I will buy a bigger table for this
Yeah.
shit. All right. Let's get to the lower.
Yeah, so the lower receiver, there's quite a bit of improvements there. I'm guessing, like, since with the Rattler, most of the concerns that people had with this gun was with the lower receiver. So, right off the bat, they included
Better
a
buffer.
buffer now that actually, like, dampens, like, kinetic
Actually,
energy.
buffers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Absorbs the force.
so there's been, like, a little bit of discussion on this on HRC, revolving around the fact that it still sits really close and flush to the shelf of the lower receiver. And because of the fact that it is kind of squishy now, like it dampens, I was actually worried about this when I did something about this on my Rattler, but it could still bottom out the bolt if, it just deforms or mushrooms when it hits it, right? So I think a quick fix for this would just be to put a washer in the back. That's what I did.
A
I
little
haven't had
washer
any
in the back. Just
problems. Yeah.
extend it so it wouldn't
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
the rear end of it.
Because I'll be real with you, even with a CNC lower, if you just keep taking hits in the back like that, like, shit probably will happen eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I think, like you added that AccuWedge in the back yourself, right?
There's no AccuWedge on this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I was just tripping
Yeah.
out. It's probably because they never paint that back section over there either. But yeah,
Yeah.
this gun has no AccuWedge, unlike the Rattler. And would you say the upper and lower wobbles very bad on this gun? Like,
Mm-hmm. It doesn't wobble very bad, but there is definitely a noticeable wobble.
mm,
It's not as bad as the Rattler, say, for example, without the AccuWedge. That thing just wobbles all day. Like it literally is a Rattler.
mm-hmm. As
It
it
just
rattles.
rattles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're
So
saying, V-Free fire control group, nothing really noteworthy there. The trigger is also a V-Free unit, most likely. Especially because
yes.
they don't even have the right profile trigger for this, like an actual spear, so they probably just took, like, production line parts for it in there.
Yeah, it's an AR
Yeah.
trigger. There's nothing all that different on this trigger compared
Yep.
to any of your other VFC
Yeah.
ARs.
And the other noteworthy thing about this would be the fact that there is like, they fixed the internal geometry of the magazine well now, so it actually accepts HK 416 mags and V mags just out of the box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let me pull up a
Sure.
416 mag.
Wasn't really a big concern, in my opinion, when the Rattler came out, because eventually it just wears in, and worst case, it doesn't drop free. But yeah, like nonetheless, I ran the VMAX anyways on that gun. Really didn't make that big of a difference, in my opinion.
Yeah, see, 416
Mm.
mag, it's in there just fine.
Does it? It doesn't drop free, does it? It's pretty stiff.
No, not really. It's still a little tight,
Mm.
but it's like it goes in. It
So
does go in.
it's probably just a break-in thing. Let's say.
It's probably just a break-in
Yeah,
thing.
maybe
Yes.
we don't know that for a fact.
Maybe. We don't know. I'm probably not going to run the 416 mag in here
No,
anyway.
no.
So,
I
but
don't
at least
know.
we know
Like I literally
it
don't know a
goes in.
person that has that many of those.
There's really no reason to buy these. They're more expensive and they're kind of heavier. And they've only recently released a V3 version of this. It was just it had a different type of upper before for the magazine. So yeah, like there's really no reason to run 416 mags in my opinion. Even they themselves have been making black Stanags for just the compatibility reasons, I guess, to have guns have black magazines similar to the 416 magazine, but in
I
Stanag.
think the black one is just the BCM mag, but without the BCM logo on it.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You could be right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the BCM one is blacker. I don't know for sure. I don't have one here with me, so I can't say. Because I think that black is like I don't know. Let's see. I can pull one up right now.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, just like the real LT, the rear QD point on this has a steel insert. That was also a suspected area of why the Rattler lowers were breaking. We don't know if that's really gonna help or do anything really. It probably won't wear out over time, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
debatable.
black Stanag. Okay, it's pretty black.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have a BCM one to compare, so.
No, I don't have a BCM to compare, so hard to say. Hard to say. But yeah, and well, this thing also comes with a really nice Sig Sauer reduced angle pistol grip. It's really comfortable and it looks pretty good, and it has the outline of the Sig Sauer trademarks right here without the Sig Sauer trademarks.
You can't say Sig Sauer. It's copyright.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That one
We'll
gun
just
company.
we'll beep that shit out.
Sure, sure, sure. But yeah, like I guess the only other thing we really gotta talk about the lower is the fact that that pin was really hard to take out, eh?
Oh yeah, this pin is a bitch to take out, man.
Yeah,
The fucking bolt release pin over here.
yeah. So I'm sure if any of you have like VFC ARs, like either they're okay or they just like fall out all the fucking time. They
All the
did
fucking
something
time,
about this
yes.
finally, but it's pretty crazy what they did. Like they actually used one of those pins that are crowned in the middle section, and
Found in the
it
middle.
was extremely tight. Like you broke a
It was
pin punch,
extremely
right?
tight. Like I tried to use a rubber mallet to knock it out, it
Right.
would not give at all.
Yeah.
So I had to go out middle of the night to buy a fucking real hammer to do this.
Yeah. And also, you broke a pin punch doing it, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's certainly something to be aware of and more careful about, because there's a big chance you'll probably need to remove that to do any sort of servicing regarding the knocker block and like that whole
The knocker
assembly over
block,
there.
yeah, because you know how there's a bolt right here.
Mhm.
That thing does come loose every
Yeah,
now and
it
then.
might
You
loosen,
should
but
definitely tighten that
now
out.
the magazine catch loops through it, so I think that's like their fix to making sure it doesn't just fall the fuck off. Like,
Yeah, and they really
yeah.
simplified the knocker itself. There's no tiny spring in there no more. So yeah, I guess those are the improvements on the V3
Mhm.
knocker system.
Which everyone knows about already. That's not what we're here to talk about.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So the lower on this gun still features essentially like a pot metal safety and magazine release. I think if
Yes.
you're gonna go for the CNC lower, it probably would be a good idea to get those swapped out for steel parts too, just to do the whole thing in one go.
Yes,
Surprisingly,
absolutely.
this gun also has a steel trigger, which that's not usually typical of VFC guns actually. I think a lot of them don't have steel triggers. It's just the rest of the fire control group that's steel.
Let's see. Isn't our MCX one steel?
I don't know. I've never
It
really
is.
gone through these magnet tests like that.
Yeah, see, it is. Even on the
Okay. Well,
MCX.
what about your BCM? Or your,
My BCM
yeah, or
is
your,
not my BCM is not standard, so
yeah.
that's not a good
And your
example.
block one is so fucking old.
Yeah, my block one, let's see. My block one is so fucking old, but it also has a
Hmm.
steel trigger.
Interesting.
Yes, steel magazine release.
Doesn't appear to be the case on the Marksman, however.
No, but that gun definitely cut a lot of corners, like with the buttstock it came with
which will
and
be
the pistol.
which we will be talking about soon.
Yes, we will be talking about that one
Yeah.
soon.
So
How do
my
you like that gun?
I love and I hate it at the same time. So HK416, not steel. This is an ESD, so that's steel. 733, not steel.
Not
SR16,
steel.
also
Mine is
not
steel.
steel. SR16, also not steel. Yeah, Rattler, steel. Scar, also not steel. Those are GHK AKs, so we don't gotta talk about those. MPX, not steel. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure the
Well, I don't
MP5
know.
isn't
You have a
either.
416A5. I have a 416A5. Mine
Yeah,
is
yours is a
steel.
forging one, though.
Did yours even come with a steel bolt carrier group?
No.
Okay, I guess that's what they call the DX
Yeah.
edition then, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so mine's forging and DX. So it already comes with all the
Mm-hmm.
steel parts.
It's good value, honestly, when you consider how much a Crusader bolt really is.
Those things are expensive.
One could argue not worth the money either.
Yeah, I would opt for some aftermarket bolt carrier
I go
groups.
Z parts.
Z parts.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely Z parts. That is the one that I go with. Those things are solid as fuck.
Yeah. So, I mean, in
hmm
general, there's not really a whole lot to talk about with the LT, in our opinion. If you've seen the Rattler, you've pretty much seen it all with the Swing. Uh,
And if you have any other ARs from this OEM, you've pretty much seen it too.
yeah,
This
it
is
feels
just
just like it.
another V3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we heard that potentially there could be more links of this gun coming out in the future, but we don't know that for a fact yet.
We do not know that for a fact, but we've heard of a 11-inch coming
Mm-hmm.
soon, maybe, or
Maybe.
a 14-inch coming in the future,
Also, maybe.
maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
So,
Don't take our word.
yeah,
It's
like
just
personally, I think I'm not too concerned about this just because of the modular nature of this gun. Like it'd be
yeah, just have a
fairly,
different cover
yeah,
or
like you
just
put a handguard and a front end on it, and it's just that, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
that
but
is
yeah,
true.
it's I mean it's not bad. I was not as excited about this gun, but after seeing it during the release and the coverage that we did, yeah, I can't wait to get my hands on this. I was shopping between this and a BCM Mark II. And I think this kind of like fits the same role as that, so I'm just gonna keep,
It's the
you
same
know,
length, and they're
yeah, I'm
both
just gonna
300
stick with
blackout
this.
guns.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not bad.
hmm BCM. We're gonna go for the 8.5 or 11.
11, 11.5.
11.
Yeah.
11.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. 9 and 11 on pictures, it actually looks like it's very different, but in person, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's really lacking in that regard.
When you
Like,
start setting it up and you want more handguard space, that's what I notice is the difference with that.
but
Like
like,
you
what
just
are
need
you
more.
even gonna put on your handguard? Like lasers,
Yeah, a
lights.
laser. I'm never gonna use a light. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but
You
normally I
just
just
want
go for
more.
an optic and a light. That's about all I run on my
Yeah, but
guns.
I just want more
And
real estate to like be able to hold the
foregrip.
gun better, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a reason why 11's popular. That's really how I see it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that is our MCX Spear LT takedown. We are hoping to be able to do more of these videos and just get more weird discussions out here. And I think we got other people who have other guns they want to talk about. Um, we've been planning on doing this for a while now, but it just took a while to get off the ground. Mainly because, you know, we really can't do much on IG without getting our content removed. And, you know, I think after doing articles and things like that on our website for a while, it really just wasn't A lot of people don't have time to read stuff nowadays. I think me personally myself, I'd rather listen to something or watch something
Yeah,
instead.
or just
So
watch a YouTube video or just
yeah,
watch a discussion of people talking about it. Yes, absolutely.
agreed. So you know, going forward, we're probably gonna be putting more content on our YouTube page, and you know, we hope you guys enjoy. Yeah.
Okay.
So
See you
that's it
guys
for the
next time.
LT. Yep. See you guys next time.